Hello everyone and welcome back to Let's Play Hearts of Iron 4, the new order, the last days of Europe, with me, Alpha Omega, and Empire of Japan. So I will be, well, completely honest, I'm re-recording this episode. There is a reason for that which I'm gonna start with right now. And that is the bill that we are going to pass. Now, in the previous episode, we have talked about getting either generous stoppage or mine the state coffers. I finished up the generous stoppage and found out that if you do not have a 50% or higher House of Peers support, no matter how many MPs you have on your side, the bill will always fail. Now, I tested it in a couple of ways and found out that even if I have 340 MPs to support my bill, it doesn't matter. It will fail if you do not have a 50% support. So, no matter what you do here, no matter how many MPs support you, if you do not have an official number here above 50%, it doesn't work. So that, in my opinion, is absolutely stupid, because I understand that the House of Peers support as a general rule has a certain value, and it probably shows how the parties work with you and what they do. But if you have an amount of MPs here above 300, then automatically failing you when you take up a bill. No matter which bill, by the way, I checked with other ones, so we cannot do any at this point if we do not have a House of Peers support above 50%. So, because this mechanic is something that I consider cheap and I don't agree with it, I decided that we're gonna re-record this episode and I'm gonna stop it. Nothing happened really, nothing major that would spoil the episode. I didn't learn anything or there wasn't any major event. And instead we're just gonna go and look at what we can do instead. Which, honestly, we don't really have that much of a choice. So we can cut the chaff, we can go with... Well, no, we cannot go with end wartime rationing because that one introduces a bill. And so does loosen the urban curfews. So we can pretty much just get the... Yeah, well, we can do just one, basically. We can cut the chaff, and then we are done. That's great. That is great. Well, we're getting a lot of political power right now. Okay, now we can also do the compromise on social issues here. So we can do two things, a compromise and cut the chaff. Okay, let's start with... Actually, no, let's start with the compromise. That one is gonna lower our relations, but it gives us an event. This one just decreases relations and gives us a flat bonus to GDP, actually. Okay, so let's compromise on social issues, and in the meantime we're just gonna invest everything we can and dump it, or dump everything we can, invest everything we can into increasing the support in House of Peers. Among the cliques and factions that make up the innards of the Yokusankai, the reformists are most famous for their advocacy of looseness in public morality. Other than the more urgent issue of the economy, decency has proven to be the most divisive point between Ikeda and Takagi's portion of the Diet. The conservatives argue that public morals are an essential part of the Kokutai, while the reformists claim that prescribing morality belongs to an archaic, barbaric age. This is another compromise on the Prime Minister's agenda. In exchange for keeping the lid on Takagi's student followers, Ikeda will pursue the old, irritable and stubborn conservative MPs to soften their stance on social issues. Although public decency is crucial in theory, without a hold on power, the government's position would mean nothing at all. You win some, you lose some, such as the rule of life and of politics. So I'm really hoping that the compromise is going to help us with the House of Peers support. If I go ahead now and launch a propaganda campaign, we go to 31.5, so we're getting about 3.5%. So that means we need at least what, 300 more. 300 more political power. And that's amazing. That is just amazing. Either way, we will continue. Well, I'm gonna be a little bit repetitive maybe for myself here, just to make sure that I don't forget anything. New Granada here. That is our greatest victory. I think we checked it last time that America has been hurt by, what, 200 points? Yes, 200 points, total defeat. Well, we have gained 100 points from winning this country on our side, though they are not part of the... Well, they're not part of our sphere. So hopefully there's going to be something in it for us, we'll see. I'm gonna unpause the game. We're probably gonna get a news article about it because we didn't. And because the economy is doing really well here, I'm thinking we might look into the army a little. Yes, New Granada victory here in Colombia. Now, did we deal with the production here? Or did I figure that out in the last episode? I figured that one out in the last episode. Including the type. Okay, well, so, things that I did. I found out that the reason why our units in Cameroon are not getting reinforced is not because they would not get any equipment. They actually get pretty quickly all the equipment they need. What they can't get is transport and attack helicopters, which they do not have. So we need to put up a lot of production in those because we lost an inordinate amount during the fighting. Second thing that I actually found out is that we don't have the Type 20 in production, which is the APC that we would like to put on our inventory. Because I was thinking that the Hohei Shidan would ideally be eventually supported by 2 APC units like this, and that would put it on combat with 20. We could eventually maybe even add one more maybe and give an anti-air 2 or 3 of these, for example, or an artillery piece. We could do something like this, which would make them much significantly stronger, or much stronger. And of course, we would eventually give them a medevac and have a supply company. And that would make them a pretty good bunch. Also, I think I would give them a scout helicopter company. So something like this would be a modern type of a unit for us. Not only does that cost too much though at this point, but we really don't have the equipment for them. So that really goes back to the transport helicopters and the improved attack helicopter. The Type 20 APC that we're producing is fairly awful. It uses basic infantry support gun while we have access to the advanced infantry support gun, and it does also lack 2 slots. Now this APC is really strong in the department of breakthrough and armor, so I decided to play into those cars by getting the autoloader, which adds defense and breakthrough 3. Was it that one? I think so. No. It was the the autoloader and the extra armor plating. Those increase the armor, the breakthrough, the defense, and piercing of the vehicle. We are also going to change the welded armor into cast armor, which helps even further with the statistics. We do have enough experience for that, so that is pretty good. The reliability is at 84, and we're gonna call this Type 21 So I'm gonna save this one and I'll put it up for production, and we are going to reshuffle our... That's interesting, we can actually design an armored car as well. Oh, okay, it might be good. But the Type 21 as a vehicle is going to be great boost to our regular infantry units. But we need to start producing them because we get 500 in, or 500 of the Type 20 in our bank, and that is not enough. But we have a lot of extra production that we can get rid of. So I can, for example, kill the improved anti-airs over here. I can get rid of a bit of the support companies. We have a ton of motorized. I'll keep producing the tanks because they are pretty good. We can take one factory of each of these, so of the tanks as well. And we have a ton of aircraft, so let me just kill that production here. Same with you, we have a ton of interceptors. Okay, so we get, as you can see, an insane amount of factories. So we're gonna put 8 on attack helicopters and 8 on transport helicopters, and that still leaves us 5 extra factories, and those are going to be put on the Type 20. So we will have 6 factories working on that one. We'll be producing about 2 per day eventually, which is good. We could start converting the first ones, but I think that we'll keep those at the bay at this point. And you will see that when it comes to Hoheichidan, these new APCs are gonna be extremely good. They increase defense and breakthrough of our units very significantly. They don't add much in the area of soft and hard attack, but that's not necessary. We really want to protect them during their possible operations by attacking and boosting their defense. And if we want to add soft attack, we can add a regular artillery like so. And even the anti-air is actually, I think, helping a little bit. So something like this would work. And if we add the medivac and heavy supply, it would look like this. Soft attack would be 360, hard attack 191, breakthrough 384, defense 1111. So that is goddamn good. So that's what we're gonna be aiming for. With that said, we can unpause the game, let it run, and bask in the glory of New Granada and victory in Colombia. With the surrender of the Bogota government and the Colombian Revolutionary Union, the ultra-rightist coalition of New Granada has won out in the Colombian Civil War. Welcomed by joyous crowds in Bogota, the Saldico Duce, Gilberto Alzate Avedano, held a ceremony proclaiming Colombia's renaming as the State of New Granada and was formally declared Duce. Envoys from the former Axis powers have attended the ceremony with a view on strengthening cooperation with the new regime. The only pronouncement from America is a terse note. The pretended state of New Granada will meet with no recognition from the free world. Okay, and we finished civilian factories. Q, which was mostly infrastructure and some administrative buildings. So doing really good. They're giving us extra 8% of political power. Is really good. But I think we might want to go with the armed bases, division organization, mobilization, stability, compliance, quality. Those are not really important. Hospitals, monthly population. Okay, let's build hospitals and schools for now. Mostly. Okay, so 2 hospitals, 2 hospitals, 2 hospitals, 2 hospitals. We can build nothing here. Okay. Schools. There'll be some schools. These are Yeah, let's build it like this. Sounds about right. So let's do it like that. Either or, we're doing our best. So the Cameroonian operations are going well. What we're gonna do here is we're gonna eliminate these divisions and then we're gonna push towards Futafuba after a small detour to Abidjan to reinforce our units. From Futafuba, after it falls, it is just a small distance to Bamako and Kita, which should theoretically take down the entire state of Mali. So we're gonna see how it's gonna go. Army coup in Peru. The streets of Andean capital of Lima have awoken to the sounds of tank threads rolling through its streets. Key media, business and government buildings have been occupied by soldiers of the Peruvian armed forces. Peru's President Manuel Odria gave an announcement announcing, great English guys, that he was closing both the Parliament and Supreme Court as Peru's civilian political class has failed. As if they were allowed to continue in what he stated as their constant squabble and obstruction, the country risked becoming ungovernable. Thus, the new National Salvation Junta has announced the closure of all political parties in Peru. Following the announcement was the vandalization and outright burning of the Asilo Popular and APRA party headquarters. While some cheer on the new regime, others prepare to flee the country, and once again the destiny of Peru has become dark and uncertain. That's not great. Okay, so we can immediately attack over here. And then we'll have... It's actually pretty decent for 6 divisions encircled here. That is more than enough for our purposes. Okay, so New Granada volunteers have retreated back to our home. Can unite them over here. Yeah, they're still missing a lot of equipment. Okay, so this area has been, or will be taken, and then we're gonna attack over here. Debt to GDP 102.3%. We're not even doing the military austerity here. That's the fun part. If we did that, it would be even more dramatic. Yeah, we're really missing just the attack helicopters and transport helicopters, aren't we? Yep, that's about it. Okay, and now eliminate. They're mostly completely exhausted, but still, it is an amount of troops that's gonna be, from now on, not our problem. Okay, just destroy them. As I said, once we destroy them, we're gonna move to Abidjan. I want them to get reinforced for missing manpower, a lot of equipment, some AFVs, and battle tanks. Okay, we finished the armor piercing medium shells, which means I wonder if that affects medevac units. I don't think so. It would probably clearly stated there. Looking over here. Improved anti-tank missiles. Basic anti-tank missile. Okay, let's get the improved mountain warfare equipment. It helps with leg infantry as well, and with the motorized, and gives mountaineers some organization. We might need that eventually. Preparing for the most arduous mountain mission in high altitudes and low temperatures will require extraordinary training and discipline from our mountain troops. Okay, so you're done with the encirclement and go to Abidjan. Now we're gonna save a little bit of fuel. And enjoy a little bit of a peace. I often forget how many penalties we have to the production efficiency. The fact that well, we're shooting ourselves in the leg with the efficiency because we're not funding anything. Okay, you guys have regained everything you needed except the manpower. Because we're not funding them, they cannot increase the production effectively. That kinda sucks, but unfortunately I don't care about it as much as I should. Expo 67 opens in Montreal. After years of work and planning, including building man-made islands in the middle of the St. Lawrence River, massive infrastructure projects and modernistic pavilions, which computer calculations said could not be accomplished in time, the 1967 International and Universal Exposition has been declared open by Queen Elizabeth II after a ceremonial flame was lit by Prime Minister Weston B. Pearson in Montreal, Quebec. Nations from around the world have been invited to set up pavilions and display their achievements, all celebrating the theme of man and his world. But Expo 67 is the crown jewel of Canada's centennial celebration. The party is scheduled to last for the next 7 months, so you better get over to Montreal before it's all over. Can we get the manpower already? We did. Amazing. So you guys will go National Progressive Party victory in law election. So we're gonna go over here. A simple goal to attack here, but actually this is not the right way to go, like so. Because we'll have units in each of these areas. One's gonna take this one, this one, and then we're gonna squeeze you in the middle. National Progressive Party victory in 1967 law election. Recent word out of Laos. Just a reminder, Laos, Model D. Yeah. One of the poorest nations in the co-prosperity sphere. The oldest liberal democracy in Japan's sphere. Silvana Forma and his PXKN have claimed victory this year, emerging with the most seats and securing their place via a coalition with the NLHX, intent on improving relations with Japan, lifting restrictions and discriminations on the minorities of Laos, and combining the raging opioid crisis. The two brothers and their parties stand poised to sweep Laos with a wave of reform and progress. The conservative elements, though dismayed at the defeat, take solace in the cracks in the coalition, chiefly around the party's divergent economic policies. Additionally, the more centrist elements of the coalition have made it clear that they are willing to compromise with the rightists on some areas. Begrudgingly, they conceded their defeat and entered the quiet talks, bringing a much-needed sense of normalcy to the nation after the tumult of the 60s have brought to Asia and the co-prosperity sphere. Good on us. So actually we can now do another propaganda campaign for the 4.5. Okay. I definitely think the game has stolen a ton of our a ton of our support in the parliament and everything, because we had way better numbers just a few months ago. Debt to GDP 101.7. That is just amazing. And euro deficit is down to less than 0.2%. I love it. A compromise. Well, this event positively, completely, absolutely sucks. A compromise. Tired and irked, Takagi and Ikeda spoke to each other in a boardroom in the National Diet Building and discussed the last debate that split reformists and conservatives, despite their unofficial alliance. Ikeda stood with his arms crossed in the brightly lit room, looking over to Takagi with an expression of complaint across his face. Takagi glanced back over to Ikeda with a queer look of fatigue, exhausted by the bitterness of intense parliamentary dispute. Mr. Takagi, if our confidence and supply deal is to work, we need to compromise on some issues. I did not see that out there at all. If your people want a voice in our bills, you have to show us the support. It's really that simple. He had finished speaking, lowering his voice after almost shouting across the room. Takagi was silent for a moment and rubbed his eyes. He looked back up at Ikeda and nodded in agreement with the Prime Minister, and the two discussed further on their dealings in the Diet. We are at a zero-sum game. So, we lose 100 political power. Amazing. What is that? 2 months worth of political power? Our faction power decreases by 2.5%. The reformists, they increased their political power by 2.5%, but support in the House of Peers drops by additional 2.5%, and public approval increases by 2.5%. Well, the last one is okay, but other than that, this is absolute disaster. I mean, the economy is going high pretty significantly, but in the end... Okay, so we lost 5% of our relations and 2.5% of our political power in the Diet. We lost 100 political power as an absolute. Reformists gained a little bit of power, but support dropped, decreased gender rights, traditional roles policy. Just amazing all over the place. Just wonderful. So cut the chaff. Throughout the wartime years, as well as deep into the inner years, the state and private industry have been intermingled in an incredibly incestuous relationship, not helped by Colonel Fuminaro's national mobilization law affirming the role of the state in a certain sector of the economy. And this has, however, put a massive strain on our state coffers in an incredibly unprofitable sectors, mired with embezzlement, graft, and bureaucracy. Hence, Deputy Prime Minister Hatoyama is drafting an act to repeal the economic and bureaucratic restrictions of the National Mobilization Law, an attempt to cut away the state's useless investments so that they can be repurposed for profitable means, such as indirect aid to corporations. However, the technocrats will be opposed to this, and we will have to be wary at attempts to sabotage this act on the parliamentary floor. So we gain 1% of GDP, we decentralize our economy but hurt our relations with technocrats, and administrative efficiency increases even further. So, House of Peers support 42%, government stability 49%, public support 54%. We do have the majority. We just need to keep doing what we're doing. There really is no other way. Even though I hate it. Hopefully when Cameroon wins, we might, for example, get some sort of help here with political power. I think that when... we didn't get anything from New Granada victory. But when we unified Indonesia, I think we got 100 political power or something like that. That would be just absolutely divine at this point. I'm thinking I'm gonna switch you for Nishi Takeichi and send you back home to look over these guys, Fujiwara. Because he is better in everything, literally. So, okay, you guys can actually take the rail. There really isn't any need for you to waste your time anyway. At least the euro deficit is amazing. The debt to GDP will continue dropping. We're actually going to lower our actual debt this year as well because of the liquid reserve we're gonna get somewhere. Was it here? No, we already gotten that. Okay. But we're starting to see here a little bit of an issue, which means we're gonna be locked, unable to do anything, because we literally... wait, what? That... why? Why would you do that? That's not at all what I wanted. Just get in there. Take the rail, and then I'm gonna go over there. But yeah, because of the low support in the Yokosankai, we cannot introduce any bill. The game has effectively decided we can't do anything here. And because of that, we will not be able to literally do anything. Because we'll just have to wait it out until we get enough support. I don't think there's anything, because this one gives us a voting. This one doesn't, but we can't continue. We can't go through here or here. We're effectively locked. We are effectively locked. Which is just wonderful. Okay, now what we're gonna do here is you're gonna go here and you're just gonna support it because we want to take this territory, but our real goal is taking Bamako and Nikita. So let's just finish this and move. Okay, and you can now actually go this way, straight up. So can you? Where are you? You know what? It would actually make a lot of sense to eliminate these three divisions. This one is neutral, right? No, it's not. Okay, but there's not gonna be any way for them to retreat anyway, because yeah, they control this territory. So once we take that, it's gonna be over. So let's end this episode by reading this little last news from the world. PSZ FKGP dominant coalition wins 1967 Hungarian elections. In a historical moment for Hungary, the first free election have been held after years of fascism. As millions cast their ballots for the first time, the results were waited all with anticipation to see who would lead the nation in this new era. And PSZ FKGP-led coalition has emerged as the people's choice. The two dominant parties in the bloc are the PSZ, a centrist and liberal party, and the FKGP, one of the oldest represented parties, made up of anti-fascist agrarians. With PSZ being the larger of the two parties, Geza Teleki, the son of a former prime minister, has become the prime minister himself. Teleki promises vast improvements in social and democratic rights, and to open up the country to world trade while combating German influence within the country, in a result that saw many celebrate. Hungary looks to the free world in hope. I thought that you were part of the Einheitspact. You are. Oh. Okay, so it's no longer Einheitspact. It is now called Großraum Continental Europa. Okay. So they've been working on this and changing the stuff. Well, okay then. On that note, we're gonna end here with the note that we are defeating the resistance of the 5th Malian militia that's trying to stop us from advancing into the enemy territory, and it will fail at that. And this is actually our own as well, so we could even just go. No, we can't. But if we move towards Bamako, there is still an encirclement potential here. So you guys take this, and then we'll end it here. A good episode with the caveat that we literally can't progress now. Or I can do one thing, and that is just decide which one we don't give a damn about and just ignore it, know that we will fail. But that's gonna significantly hurt our... what's it called? I forgot. The government stability. We're gonna get massive penalties because if I remember correctly, when the bill passes, you get a bonus, but then when the bill fails, you get a malus. So I'm not sure we really want to lower that much further because I think sub 50 is actually dangerous. Or it says something here. Less than 50 hours of peer support. Yeah. Well, anyway, thank you very much for joining me. See you in the next one.